what is going on, everybody? We are back here on some MLB The Show. It's going to be a late upload today. I recorded audio and video yesterday. However, I did not record gameplay, so it was just me talking to myself while playing the game. The Blue Wahoos. We are 4-5. The gameplay that I played yesterday and didn't record, believe me, was not worth watching. Somehow I'm the second ranked left fielder prospect in MLB. I have not played good. I'm barely getting any hits. I think I'm batting like 200, 225, somewhere around there. I'm not batting very good right now. 278. So better than I thought, but has not been great. 8-game hitting streak though, so that is something to hang our hat on. And we are going to fly out to center. This is pretty much how all the games went yesterday. I played 9 games yesterday. I was flying out or I was hitting ground outs. So it was not a pretty day for me. But no, one thing I wanted to address is I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and I see these posts come up a lot. And every time I see them come up, I mute the accounts because it's just plain wrong. It's an account saying that people should pay attention more so to what times they're going to sleep. And they can fix their sleep schedule by doing this one simple thing, which is going to bed at this time. I don't know what the actual times are. I don't pay enough attention to know. But it's like go to bed at this time, wake up at this time, every single day, and then weekends you adjust a little bit. The truth is, you can't just control when you go to sleep because your sleep cycle is genetic. I don't know how many people know that or if it is a common fact for people to know, but your sleep cycle is genetic. You don't get to choose when you go to sleep. A lot of people, like myself, I get tired pretty early. There was a point in my life, fly out straight to shortstop. But there was a point in my life where I would go to bed at 7 p.m. I've had points where I go to bed at 9, 9:30, 10. Right now I get up about 4. So I'm going to bed right around 9 every single day and no later or else I struggle to get up. But my wife, for instance, she can't sleep at 9 o'clock. She's not tired. So she'll be up to 10, 10:30, 11 because that's when she starts to get tired. People don't just get to choose, hey, I want to go to bed at 9 o'clock on this night. You're not going to be able to fall asleep. It'll take you hours to fall asleep if you normally go to bed at 11 or 12. So it's important to understand what your sleep cycle is, what your chronological patterns are. That way you're going to sleep at the right time. And do that every single day. Like, don't wait on the weekends to go to bed till midnight if you normally go to bed at 8 throughout the week. Continue to go to bed at 8 throughout the week. Yes, it makes your weeks feel shorter, but it is worth it in the end. You'll feel more refreshed and you'll feel better. But when they say stuff like, yeah, you just need to go to bed at this time or this time, you can't change it. It would take you literal years to change what time your body wants to go to sleep. So unless you have years to devote to it, ground out to short again, man. I just don't have any luck here. But if you try to change your sleep cycle, it will take you way too long unless you're willing to devote that amount of time to it. Not even close. We got it out at home and an out at third now. Another thing I need to address is that my generation, so I am Gen Z, I'm 26 years old. My generation sucks. The amount of people I work with that are either older than me or my age that get hurt from the smallest things drive me absolutely nuts. That might be a base. Nope, fly out to center. Gosh dang, man. But the people I work with, generally speaking, are okay, but they need to be a little bit tougher. You know, like, as someone who played football up until my freshman year of college when I unfortunately had to medically retire. And then I played basketball, I threw track. I've had my fair share of injuries. I've torn my patellar tendon. Oh, right to the pitcher, man. Am I going to be out? Dude, I'm so slow. But I've torn my patellar tendon. I've separated my left shoulder 3 times. I've broken my foot, my toe. And none of it kept me out. I broke my toe right before 7th grade football started. I played 7th grade football the whole season. Didn't really sit out. When I tore my patellar tendon, I did it on the first play of the playoff game. There was really no possible chance that we were winning that game unless we got super, super lucky. So I played the rest of the game on a torn patellar tendon. And I didn't think about it until after the game when it was still hurting really, really bad. Even with all the adrenaline and stuff, it was hurting pretty bad and I was limping in between plays. But during the play, I was pretty good. But I ended up going to the hospital that morning, finding out I had a torn patellar tendon. And still, like, I showed up Monday on crutches. No one would have known that I tore my tendon because I just don't like showing that I'm hurt. But the people I work with, like today, 1/6 hollow core door hit someone's hand, and they were icing it and holding on to it for I don't know how long, just talking about how much it hurt. And another guy, he left early one day for a rolled ankle. Not a sprain or a break or anything like that, a rolled ankle. And look, at the end of the day, if it really hurts, it really hurts, I understand. But the first time I worked at this job, I broke my foot because I dropped plywood on it. And you could feel where it was broken, but I just assumed it was my foot being deformed. I didn't think anything of it until after I had left, and the pain still continued from working there. So I was like, let me go to the doctor, and I found out I broke my foot. But I mean, that job, we work at a place where we walk 10 to 15,000 steps every single day, and during that time, we just happened to be really, really busy. So I was walking anywhere from 20 to 30,000 steps every day, and I still did that on a broken foot. So when these guys are out for a rolled ankle or their hand hurts or any of that stuff, it just drives me absolutely crazy. Like, I just need people to be able to handle some bumps and bruises, especially in a warehouse. Like, we don't work in an office. We work in a warehouse. You need to be a little bit tough, I would think, to work in a warehouse. I don't understand what happened with my generation where everyone just couldn't take any little bit of pain, but it's something that just I don't and won't ever understand. It's going to be a fly out, so we're just going to go for 1-0 mid-third. But maybe I'm being irrational, you know, like, pain is pain. It's going to go away and you're going to feel it. But it's not going to be debilitating unless you broke like a femur or your rib is puncturing your lung or anything like that. For instance, I had a guy that I worked with, and I was on the safety committee for a little bit in my job, and I just told him, listen, I'm one of the least safe guys here. Growing up in the country, growing up around a farm, we didn't really care about being safe. We crashed four-wheelers, we shot arrows at each other, we did a lot of stupid stuff. So when they said I was going to be on the safety committee, I'm like, listen, I'm probably not your guy for this. And I said the first time we had a safety meeting that safety comes down to knowing what your limitations are. Fly out to center, man. I really thought that one was going. But safety just comes down to what your limitations are, you know. So if you can't lift 300 pounds, don't attempt to lift 300 pounds. If you can't walk more than 10,000 steps without your foot giving out or your leg giving out, don't walk those 10,000 steps. Give yourself rest between. If you're old, don't climb up in racks. Save it for someone younger, or just get a forklift, you know? But there was a guy I used to work with who, he was trying to carry doors, a couple of heavier doors, which me and my buddy could always do, and we always did. And we always told him, like, hey, dude, don't even try. We're going to try. Right there. Yep. Yeah, that one, there's no chance I was getting that. I should have just stayed still. But we always told him, like, hey, man, don't do anything that's outside of your limit. And for the most part, this guy being his size, which was like 5'7", $150, soaking wet, for him being his size, he could actually hang with us for the most part. But when it came to lifting heavy things, he usually didn't attempt it. So when he tried to attempt to carry 2 doors at once, both were relatively heavy for him. His lung ended up collapsing. So he said. We have no real proof of it. But he said that his lung collapsed, so we took his word for it. And when he came back, I told him straight up, I was like, dude, I don't feel bad for you. Like, what you did was stupid. You know you can't handle it. You need to be smarter. And after that, he just kind of turned into a really bad employee. And he went from being someone that we could rely on to, I mean, he quit maybe a week and a half later. But at the end of the day, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And he played a stupid game, won a stupid prize. But I just refuse to have sympathy for people that do something they know they aren't capable of doing. Bottom of the 7th, full count. We got Peyton Green stepping up. Oh, there's Showtime moments in the outfield. Yeah, that was pretty sick. I won't lie. I like Showtime moments in the outfield. They aren't that cool when you're in the infield because you're just running toward the ball, and when it bounces, you dive. But when you can dive and make a catch, I think that's pretty sick. I got 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. We're 2 for 9 in the series, and not playing great. We're going for the go-ahead home run, even though we don't have a lot of contact power or anything like that. Yeah, that was a stupid swing. I don't know why I decided to swing at that one. I had a really, really crazy dream. Now, when I dream, for the most part, they're all vivid. Like, the dream I had the other day, and this is, by the other day, I'm talking like 3 weeks or so ago. Why did I go? I'll get down. I'm good. But this dream was 3 weeks or so ago, and I had a dream I was working in an aquarium. And my coworker said, hey, it's time for you to get the orcas and the sharks into... See, I wanted to go home there. My guy turned back. Rogue, we need to get moving. But my coworker said, hey, you need to get the sharks and the orcas in the tank for a little bit so they can have some yard time, as if it was prison. So I was like, okay, let me go get these orcas and sharks in the pool. For those that don't know, orcas and sharks, they don't jive well. So the orcas realistically would have killed the sharks, so I put them both in the tank at the same time. After realizing what I did, I'm looking around all over this facility thinking, hey, the orcas and the sharks are together, I don't know how to get them back out. The way they went out to the tank in the first place was bizarre. So what would happen is I would go to a screen, like I'm selecting characters in a video game. I would press orca, I'd press shark, and they would get on a conveyor belt and slide out to the pool. Which obviously for orcas and sharks, it's not a small pool. So after sending them out to this pool, I was like, okay, let me find somebody that can help me get them back inside. So I was like, hey, does anyone know how I can get the orcas and the sharks back into the building? And no one's answering me. They're like, no, we have no idea, like, why, what's the big issue? And I'm like, orcas and sharks are gonna kill each other. And like, no, you'll be fine. Like, there's just a little bit of time. I'm like, a little bit can go a long way. I need to get these things back in the building. And so then finally, my boss finds me and they go, hey, yard time's up. Get the orcas and the sharks back in. I was like, all right. So I just walked outside. I turned the corner, and it's literally a swimming pool that your rich friend had in their backyard. Not one of the underground ones, an above ground swimming pool, probably 13 feet wide, holding 2 orcas. And I go, whales. That's all I said. I said, whales. And they both pop up out of the water, and they're smiling at me. I said, it's time to go inside. And both of them audibly go, no. And I go, not an option. We need to go inside. And as they're staring at me, they both just turn pink and start interacting with me as if we're just boys. And after they had turned pink and we had like a little bit of conversation, which I can't remember, I woke up from this dream. So I don't know what caused me to have this dream. I don't take any melatonin or anything like that, which I think could enhance dreams. Oh, please. That's a fly out to right, isn't it? Yeah. We just get no luck, man. Just flying out, ground outs. We got a couple of his last game, but other than that, it is not a good showing for us. I'd be surprised if I even came up before the All-Star break. We're going 3. At least we turned that into a double. So when I played baseball in 5th grade, that was basically how that play looked. So imagine me not running back. Okay, the ball gets hit right there, and I'm just standing there, and I'm staring at nothing. And then I hear someone say, get the ball, and I go, what? And I turn around, I see it against the fence. I sprint, grab it, chuck it to third. We're skipping the relay, and it ended up only being a double. So luckily, middle school field isn't the same size as these, so I had a little bit less room to run. Man, is that going to be another fly out to center? Son of a gun, dude. Top of the 7th, bottom of the 8th. We're only down 1-0. Like, we're so in this game, I just need to get one for our team. Oh, great play by second. That's an out. End of the 8th. Hopefully, in the top of the 9th, I can get a hit. I'm 0 for 3, man. If I could get a home run here, what a game changer. Realistically, I don't see them scoring in the 9th. Well, there goes there goes the hope for that. How early was that hit that was that weak? Holy cow. Well, we're going to hope our runner on third can score. Man. Yeah, dude. Thank God for my semifinal game, because if it weren't for that one, no way in hell am I playing for the Knoxville Smokies right now. This guy kind of looks like a skinny Henry Cavill. Kind of looks like Parker McCollum, the country singer. Let's go. Oh, perfect hit. And it's a flat, man. Even when my timing is impeccable, I'm flying out to the outfield. I make these dudes look like all-stars. I'm getting more outfielders drafted and pulled up to the big leagues than any agent in the world. Bennett Hosletter, he's probably the best hitter in or double A. I thought the throw was pretty on target, but alright. Bottom of the 2nd. Now we're back up to bat. Yeah. Top of the 3rd. 0 from 1. 235 average. 595 OPS. 13 RBIs. 1 home run. Make that 2 home runs. Let's see it, Henry. Oh, that's going to hit the gap, I think. Oh my goodness. 2 home runs. Let's go. I did not expect that. I just kind of made the joke because we were playing so bad. But 2 home runs on the board now. Thank goodness. Now, as you guys can tell, listen. I'll never pretend to be good at this game. I don't care to be good at this game. There's people that are playing on Hall of Fame difficulty or whatever. I don't care, okay? I want to have fun. I want to enjoy my experience. If you guys ever want to see me play on Hall of Fame, I'm more than willing to play on Hall of Fame. But for now, we're going to play on whatever the hell I'm playing on. If you don't like it, then go find a content creator that plays on the difficulty you want to play on. I'm just trying to follow a hobby and have a little fun doing it, you know. 2-run home run in the third, 1 for 3. Oh, that's in the gap. That's a base hit. Let's go. It's crazy how we go 0 for 3 in this series. No game has really been close except for the last one where we lost 1-0. And now we're up 4-0. Okay. As anyone that's seen my videos know, I don't ever wait around. I'm stealing bases. I hate running bases. I just want to get to home as fast as possible. Man, that's embarrassing. Can't even dive back fast enough. Our player is so slow. Rogue, we got to increase the speed. We're going to do so many drills in the off season. The Showtime moments, I would say 9 times out of 10 I'm going to get these. They are pretty easy. It's the pushing the buttons that gets me for the most part. If all my throws just had to be directed with the right stick, I'd be okay. Flashback to our home run, basically about 500 feet there. That's what it felt like. Man. Yeah, so aside from that home run, that's pretty much how they all go. Ground out, fly out. If there's a chance for me to be out, it's probably happening. We're moving on to game 5. Yeah, game 5 because they're up 3-1. We're going to hope we can tie the series, assuming it is a 6-game series, which I think it is. I think while we're in the AA, I'm going to do one series at a time because these videos tend to get pretty long and I need to shorten them up a little bit just for people to be tuned in. I know how attention spans work, and if I keep making 45-minute videos, 38-minute videos, I'm not going to have the attention span for too long, so I need to try to condense these down into under, I would say, 25, 28 minutes. Probably 20 minutes, really. They know I'm slow, man. They're going to try to pick me off every single time. Yeah, if anyone's watching this video and you guys have any experiences or fun dreams or anything like that you want me to respond to, or experiences at work with people that are relatively soft, please leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories about your coworkers. This is a safe space, so I mean, I'm not going to say anything to anyone that you know. Obviously, I don't know you. So I like hearing people's stories. Y'all don't know me. You know that I work in a warehouse, but you don't know where I work. So I have no issue sharing stories about people I work with and what I think of them. Like, we had another kid that was pretty soft. We had a kid out for back spasms, which I've had back spasms. Don't get me wrong, they hurt. They are painful. I thought caffeine was just destroying my insides because this was when I was drinking 5 or 6 bangs every single day. And I asked the trainer, I said, hey, every time I take a deep breath, it feels like my ribs and spine are exploding. It just felt like this huge sharp pain through my body. I was like, do you know what that is? And the trainer goes, no, I have no idea, but I would keep an eye on it and maybe go see a doctor. Me being me, I don't ever go to the doctor, so I'm like, you know what, I'll just tough it out. And then someone explained to me what back spasms were, and that's when I found out what I was experiencing. I was like, oh my God, I'm having a back spasm? So they do hurt, but to go on light duty with the back spasm, I think that's excessive. I think it's pretty soft. I don't know. When I had my back spasms, I was working. The only difference between me working and me not being able to work was if I took a deep breath, it just shot a sharp pain through my body. I could still work and do my job and do all that stuff. So I never needed to be on light duty. I just needed to take smaller breaths to avoid that. Try to fill the lungs with air and have that sharp pain go through me. Yep, we're staying, coach. I don't know. Like I said, if you have any stories about coworkers that you experience that are being soft, feel free to drop them. And when I finally get it planned to do my Workplace Wednesday videos, you guys will see what I'm talking about. Like, the people I work with, they're lazy. They don't push themselves. They don't try to do anything physical throughout the day, which is a big reason why they keep getting hurt. They don't work out. They don't take care of their bodies. So when they do have to do something strenuous or physical, it ends up hurting them more than it does give them a workout. Like, if you do work a job in a warehouse and you keep getting hurt, truth is you need to start lifting weights. Like, you need to make your connective tissues and your joints and your muscles and your skeletal system stronger so that you aren't dealing with so many injuries. I almost never get hurt to the point where I can't do my job. And if it did happen, I'd still probably try to push through or at least do something. But I don't know, some people just don't think the same way. Get down. Okay. Yeah, I knew that one was late. But yeah, people don't think the same way, and that's fine if you don't, but if you're going to be like that, then your best bet is to work in an office. No offense, I've worked an office job. There's nothing against it. It's just that I will say, when I worked in an office, I have never felt like more useless in my life. You know, like, I was really good at what I did. I enjoyed what I did. But I just felt like it's, for lack of a better term, I just felt soft. I felt less of a man than I wanted to. Straight up, I felt like a pussy. Like, it just, there was nothing masculine about it. I thoroughly enjoyed what I did, but it was just not enough for me to be like, yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know, I was working with students and I enjoyed recruiting students and doing all that stuff. But there was just something about sitting in an office, not doing something physical that I just couldn't stand. As I said earlier, I grew up on and around a farm. So when I could be on or around a farm or doing things like that, I was at my happiest. Working at this warehouse job, although I do have a college degree, I have a college master's. I do think that doing this job, I get way more joy and excitement out of it because my body is just tired at the end of the day. It's hard work. It is a little exhausting, though I wouldn't use that word. So when I go home and I feel tired, I feel accomplished. At the office job I was working at, I went home and I felt like I had way too much energy for me to be going home. So I had to go work out or I had to go do something else to kind of get rid of that energy. And that's why I was like, hey, I need to get out of here. I need to do something different. One thing that drove me nuts is whenever I would hear my coworkers that worked in an office say that they were tired, because let's be real, you're not. I don't care how many hours you're looking at a screen, you're still sitting in a chair. You do very minimal work, in my opinion. Typing's not work, responding isn't work, interacting with students isn't work. It is just something you do. Doing physical labor, landscaping, working in a warehouse, mechanic. I've washed out livestock trailers before. That's work. That's something you don't want to show up to every day, but you still do, for the most part. Like I said, I enjoy work. I enjoy being at my job. And I don't mind going every day. I drive an hour and a half to work every single day because I love where I work. And for many people there, they think that's weird to hear me say that I love where I work. But I truthfully do. I enjoy going to this place specifically to work. But, you have other people that they work in an office and they go home and they're like, oh, I'm so exhausted. This is what I dealt with. How are you exhausted? You sat at a desk. For people that'll look at me and go, oh, you've never worked in an office, you wouldn't know. They can't use that argument against me. They might be able to use it against other people. But I almost never left my office. I was in the front of the computer the entire time doing my job, and I had time to do other things, like watch YouTube videos or listen to music or whatever I wanted to do. So I would take advantage and do stuff like that because I had that much time on my hands. I never went home exhausted. There was never a time where I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do, and going the next day worried about not being able to get it done. Every single day I knew my job was going to get done. Or at least done to the point that I felt comfortable the next day that I could get the rest done, So, I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine whenever I hear anyone say they're exhausted, regardless of their job. If it's that taxing on you, then you probably should work somewhere else. Now, one that, and I hope I offend every single person that works in this profession. If you work in construction and you go home and say you had a long day or you're tired, respectfully, keep it to yourself. I've been on construction sites. I've been on so many construction sites. And none of you are working hard enough to be saying that. This will be a double. Every single construction site I'm on, you guys are taking a break every half hour. So for you to sit there and say, oh my gosh, I had a really long day at work, I'm so tired and all this stuff. No, you're not. I saw you work today. I went to a job site and we started work at like 6:30. So I get there 6:30, we leave about 7. I get to this job site. As soon as I get to the job site, these dudes are on their phones while we're unloading our truck. Then they do a little bit of work or they walk around for a little bit. As we continue working, within, I would say, 15, 30 more minutes, they were back on their phones taking another break. Or they were sitting in their machine taking a break. Please, if you say you're tired and you work in construction, leave it to someone who cares. Because if your wife believes that you're tired, or if your parents or anyone believes you're tired, you're one, either lazy, or two, you are out of shape royally. And also, you say your job's so hard, literally 80% of you are extremely overweight. So if your job's that hard and that taxing, how are you not losing weight doing it? That's one thing I can't stand, is someone saying their job's hard when they don't do anything. You have machines that do pretty much the entire job for you. And I work in a warehouse where I could use a forklift for everything. Difference between where I work and where you work, you rely on a machine for everything. I can do the majority of my job without a forklift, which I do just about every day. Construction workers, office workers have the same amount of workload and the same amount of exhaustion, in my opinion. Now, going back to the office thing, when people would tell me they're tired or whatever, my boss would always try to avoid giving me more work, because she would always say, well, I don't want you to get stressed out, or I don't want you to feel like you have too much on your plate or you have too much to do. And I would always have to remind her, you could give me every task in this hallway. It wouldn't be too much for me, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get it done at some point. If you give me a deadline, it's going to get done. All right, we scored a run there. We could tie it up 2 outs, so I'm a little skeptical here. But I said that when I left. I said, I feel like as I'm working here, because I'm not getting more tasks, I just don't feel like I'm doing enough. And I need to find some place that I need to find a place where I am doing a lot more every single day. And that's what I get from this warehouse job. That is where we're going to leave it off. We finished that series 2-4, which not terrible, but obviously we need to play better. I need to play better. As you guys can see, we are currently 6-9. You guys can follow me at Lucas, aka Moose, on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow this show at Rogue Moose Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you for watching. For anyone who watched, that is all. We'll see you next time.